So Bedard was in the kitchen, and he was cooking up some intel. He's cooking up some big intel for everybody. We've been discussing arm length. I don't know if this is going to, stop being discussed because of, the offensive line needs and all that stuff. And the person we've talked a lot about is Will Campbell and whether or not his arm measurements measure at 33 inches. He's going to measure, by the way, on Sunday. So Sunday we will get the official NFL Combine word on Campbell's arm length. But Greg actually got some intel, and apparently Will Campbell got measured last year. And Greg, you tell us what that measurement was.
Yeah, so I was, I'd asked a few people and didn't hear anything. Like I got height and weight on Will Campbell from last spring, but no arm length, and it was bugging me. Did he not measure his arms, or what's the deal? So then I reached out to a better source who would definitely know. Checked, got back to me. Will Campbell's arm length on precisely, I think it was April 2nd, 2024, was 32 inches and 7/8, which I was actually, I didn't think he was going to get I didn't think he was going to get the 33. Maybe he will on Sunday. Maybe he's been, hanging, Bobby Brady-ish, hanging from the swing. Maybe that's what he's doing at the Starbucks while journalists are fighting in Indy. But as long as, put it into context, remember, we talked about Vrabel drafted Peter Skoronski 11th overall, and they had the idea, I think they wanted him to play tackle, and he was 32.25 inches. I think Alaric Jackson, who we've been talking about, the Rams, 32.5 inches. So 32 and 7/8, that's actually that's pretty damn close. I would feel, I don't know about a 4, but certainly maybe in the top 10-ish, I would feel better about it. Remember Joe Tooney, who struggled in the Super Bowl against Josh Sweat and his 35-inch go-go gadget arms. Joe Tooney, 32.25 inches. So that he's almost a 33. I think that's a good result for him.
If you think Will Campbell can play tackle, there's no way that I would let 1/8 of an inch separate drafting him from not draft. There's just no way. I'm sorry. I get if it's 32.5, 32.25, but 1/8 of an inch. I'm sorry. That to me is all right, now we're really, really, really splitting the hairs if we're looking at 32 and 7/8 versus 33 inches. If you think he can play it, if he's athletic enough, if his technique is good enough. Now, I know there's some other, concerns, and I know his last name escapes me. His first name is Rick. His last name begins with S. He writes for you at BSJ, Greg. He's your draft guy.
Oh, Rick Staratella.
Yeah. So Rick.
Yeah, I saw you guys fighting on Twitter.
No. It wasn't a fight. Come on. This was not Schultz Rappaport style. I put out the idea of the arm length or whatever, and some story came out, and Rick replied and said he thinks he's a guard, and he mentioned Robert Gallery, who was the gigantic guard who played for the Raiders years ago. And so I asked Rick, was it just the arm length that made him feel like Campbell was a guard, or was it something else? And Rick brought up, and he's not the only one that's brought this up, that Campbell gets beat by speed rushers at times, especially when they go to the inside. So again, if you, and I'm not an O-line guru, I lean on Greg, I lean on, Evan Lazar and Brendan Thorne and some of these guys. I can't sit here and tell you the intricacies of the difference of tackle, guard, and what. But if you feel like he can play tackle, the guy gave up 3 sacks in the SEC his entire career. If you feel like he can play tackle, then again, 1/8 of an inch is not going to change my opinion about that.